Yeah, good morning, everyone. I can see that every game developer attending the DroidCon came over, so thank you for that. I am Stefan. I'm working as an Android developer, so I really love Android, as you can see. And I also like to travel and like to take weird pictures, especially with me in front. So you already got this over with, so congrats to that. Let's start. What we are going to talk about today. We are talking about play game services. Who actually worked with this? Okay, so that's like half the audience already. So for the other half, let's see first what is in the box. Introduced at I/O 13, Google Play Services is a suite of tools that help game developers produce a better game with much less effort than doing everything themselves. In the beginning, we had a few features, and at our I/O 14 last year, we had more features added to this suite, and it's a suite that covers all important platforms for gaming. So first of all, Android, and then a few others, minors like web, iOS, C++, and also Unity direct bindings for that. So what's inside? I should have my, whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, so we have leaderboards, meaning you can track what your players, how their players rank against each other in certain measurements. That might be time, that might be points. You can select this. We look into this later on. Also achievements. Give players an easy way to feel that they accomplished something great and did a specific action or managed to do a certain level really good. In terms of moving between devices, which most of you, I guess, will be very familiar with, is cloud save. That helps us store the current game state and reload it on a different device as long as it's used with the same account. So we can just keep on going where we left off, although we just switch from the phone to the tablet, or even from the tablet to the browser. Also in the box, there's multiplayer. Multiplayer is supported in two different ways. It's real-time, or B is turn-by-turn. And both is supported by the platform, so you don't need to do all the communication code. You basically just act on a turn happened, or this happened in real time right now. And you only use the platform to communicate between the game sessions of the different users. Also, matchmaking is included. Also, auto matching, so you don't need to wait for a friend to join. You can just find someone who just wants to play a game. They introduced nearby communication, and in terms of gaming, this means you don't even need to be befriended with this person. If you are in the same network, it's possible that you find each other on a conference, maybe not on a conference because they have specific router settings, but at home, at friends, or so on, or maybe in a cafe, you can just start playing a game against each other without ever knowing each other. Another interesting thing, which we come later to, is quests. Quests are time-bound missions or actions that users should perform, and for you as a game developer, it's designed for you to help re-engage users, draw them into the game, and show them specific ways to interact with your app, with your game, to have more fun and spend more time with it. Another maybe rather annoying feature is gifts. I think the way that Google Play Game Services introduced this is pretty nice. You have to have the user's consent, so I guess each of us remembers Farmville, Mafia games, and so on in our Facebook streams. This is a bit different. You really have to give consent, and then you can help people with specific game items, or you can request your friends help with something because you don't find this item. So this is pretty neat because you can use it for every game. And there's also a feature that is called anti-piracy, which is not really a feature because it's basically when you create a game, when you select this, there's a little checkbox saying anti-piracy on or off, which makes the game either only be installable via Google Play, or you can install it from everywhere and still use Google Play games. So if you make this checkmark, only games that are installed via Google Play Store can be used for getting achievements and so on. So if that's your only platform, you can use it. If you are releasing through Amazon and so on, then of course these services can't be used. But this is another story, since they're bound to Google Play services in general. We will see this in a second. You won't be able to use it on platforms where GMS is not available. And there's also an app for that. So you can use this app that you might found on your phone already or installed when it was released in the last few years, and see which games support certain aspects of the Google Play Services Play Games SDK, and you can compete with your friends over the leaderboard. You don't even need to open up the app. You can see this all. And this helps getting a consistent view of all the apps that supports it, because the same look and feel is also used when you show in-game notifications. I can show this in a second. So let's start. Level 1. How do you start giving a minimal setup to your game? So just imagine you have a game and you want to introduce a few of those features. Step 0, you have an Android setup. I take this as granted, so that's why it's 0. Supported are devices from 2.3 and up, so I guess every device. This is the kicker, you need Google Play services installed on the device. So I don't think it would work on a Kindle. I mean, there might be hacks around this, but yeah, you can only use this on Google devices. And in order to actually publish those achievements and so on, you need to have a Google Play developer account, but I think since you're a game developer and want to publish your game anyway, you have this checked as well. So, you set up Gradle. If you never used any of the libraries provided by Google in Gradle, then you need to install the support repositories for Google and for Android. I don't think any one of you has this still to do. Then you include GMS games. There's a split package for that, so you don't need to include all of Google Play services. There you can use only the games one. If you want to use the nearby communication stuff, there's a separate split package for this, and you can include this as well. All necessary dependencies like base and so on are included in this, so you can leave this out. Don't forget to sync in Android Studio, still annoying, still in 1.3. Configure ProGuard, there was a point in an earlier talk, a version of this talk. Right now they include ProGuard rules already, so you don't need to be worried that ProGuard strips out your gaming code, your achievement-related code. So now we get to the actual interesting part. So your project is set up, but now you need to have something that you can tie it to. So you head over to your apps console, and then you find the little gaming icon in the menu bar, and you create a new game. And then you link this game towards, for example, Android. Since we are in an Android conference here, we go for this, of course. And we create an overall client ID that helps our app to communicate securely with the interface with the SDK. And this is based on the sign certificate. So if you want to have it for your debug and your release, you need to create 2 different client IDs and link them against this and use the same package name for both. So this is pretty easy, and this is totally different from what it was a year ago. You needed to go to the other developer console, console.developers.google.com, and create a project there and then copy the IDs. This is now all taken care of behind the scenes, so this is very comfortable now. And then we can make a little happy dance because the setup is already complete. That means not so fast. We actually need to provide something that our players can see. So now the SDK is set up and the project knows that we want to do some gaming stuff, but we actually need to start with something. So let's start with achievements, because I'm a real sucker for those. I can play the crappiest games. If there are some achievements to gain, yeah, give it to me. So what kind of achievements are there? So there are 3 states mainly. There are hidden ones, so you don't see what they're about. You just know there's this one, I don't know how to get it, but there's this one I need to get. So I need to play more and explore and do different things. There's this one, you see what you're going to need to do to get it. So it's a revealed state, and then there's another one, it's the unlocked state. That means I actually got it just now. So, and the 4th special one is basically the incremental one, where you, and I think they exist both in revealed and hidden state, where you need to do a certain action more than one time, and you can count for the player, and the player can see the progress, and then, oh, okay, I need to play, in this case, 6 times more, and then I get this achievement. How to create an achievement is pretty easy. You go to the console that I just mentioned, click on the achievement, then you can do a new achievement, and the setup is every time is the same. You give a name, you give a description, add an icon, and you need to set a few specific things. In this case, revealed, hidden, and if it's an incremental or not, and what are the increments, and all these things. So it's really self-explanatory. Once you see this page, it's really, okay, I need to do this, I need to do this. And then, once you added a few achievements, you check those IDs, because you need them later. So this is the list of achievements, and in the green box you see a few weird IDs, and you need to remember them, or maybe not. We'll come to this later. So let's look at some code. To get your project finally fixed up with Google Play Game Services, or Google Play in general, you need to add the metadata tag for the services version. And the second line you need for games specifically is the app ID. The app ID is listed in when you created the game, so it's really easy to find, and then you just put it into a string variable, and you can reference this in the manifest. In the code, excuse me, in the code, you just create a Games API client, Google API client, and you need to include the API for games and the scope for games. And you need to register a few callbacks so you know that something went wrong or a certain action has been performed. And then you have your client instance that you should store somewhere. And then you can do fancy things like this. So you get your client instance and use the static method achievement unlock to unlock a normal achievement. And in this, where it says my achievement ID, there you put the string that we saw in the green box earlier. For incremental achievements, is shockingly different. It's another method, and you have to add the increment value as well. Other than that, it's basically the same. And also, the framework provides you with a static way or an easy way to display a UI for this. So you can just start an achievements intent and see basically something like this. This screenshot is a bit outdated. They refreshed this with material design, and it looks much nicer now even, but you get the gist. So basically, a few lines of code help you trigger some actions and drive your users toward doing this action, like finishing this level in under 10 seconds, or collecting 500 coins in this level, or something like that. Next one, level 3, leaderboards. So these have two reasons. One is you can see your global rank, so you can compare your skills with everyone in the world that uses this game and is logged into Google Play games. But also you can challenge your friends. You see your circles and see how they do. And yeah, you can send them a message saying, hey, did you see? I updated my score. So, creating a leaderboard, it's always the same pattern. You can realize this already. You have a title, you upload an image, you set the type of leaderboard. So you can have, I think, up to 20 leaderboards. Important is the decision, what is the ordering, larger is better or smaller is better. And the other thing is the type. So you can have a numeric type, you can have a time type, or a currency type if that fits your thing. And you can have 20 boards that show different things. So let's see some code again. We do basically the same. There's another static method that you just call. You use the client instance that we created earlier and use the same string, but now for the leaderboard, to actually submit this score. And Google Play takes care of ordering this. And if you want to see it, you basically get the static method for getting the right intent, and you see this. As I said, this is already updated a bit, but it looks like this, and you can see my circles or public to switch between, and you see the spinner on the top where it says top drivers. It could also be one per racetrack, for example, a leaderboard per racetrack, so you can compete with someone over the Rainbow Road, for example, if anyone understands that reference. Level 4. What else do we have in it? This is interesting, but also getting a bit complicated. So that's why it's level 4. Events and quests. Events, if you're familiar with analytics, an event is the same. A player does something, a user does something, and you just notify your backend that this action happened. But you create an event saying, for example, user won the game, or user lost the game, or, I don't know, user pressed the settings button, for example. But in games terms, this is not enough. This is good for analytics, and it helps you to analyze the behavior of the user, but it doesn't re-engage the user. Quests, on the other hand, use this information that the user does something and try to encourage this behavior by creating a challenge. A quest is a time-based challenge, basically saying, okay, dear user, I know you can collect coins, I see that, but how about you collect 500 coins in the next 24 hours? So you can set this all up. And the more important stuff here, the header I don't have in the screenshot, the more important stuff is you select an action that needs to be done by the user. You select the increase of this value, for example, 500 coins, and then you select the time frame. And what you can do here is using, for example, a JSON like this. You can tie this into the console and post this data, automatically retrieve this from the backend of Google to update the player status once this quest has been finished. So all the management of this quest is based on the UIs of Google. You don't need to code anything for this, you just use it. And how do we use it? Basically, we upload that the event happened. We just increment and increment and increment. And eventually, the quest happens. And, first, of course, sorry. First, we need to show the user that there are quests available, because they need to say, yeah, I want to participate in that quest. And for this, we, again, have a nice intent that we can just call and open up the UI for this. And then we can register a callback saying on quest finished, basically, and this helps us triggering, okay, this quest has been done, okay, download the reward data that we just set. For example, add more coins to the credits or whatever, or extra lives, or I don't know, some nice reward for the user. And yeah, so we re-engage the user by saying, hey, do this. And they completed the challenge, so we can reward them with this. So while working with this, I found a few things that make it easier to work with, or at least avoid some mistakes. So one of the shortcuts or the problems that you might run into, when you want to publish, you normally publish in Google Play, but you also don't need to forget to publish your achievement data and so on in Google Play Games. So it's even suggested, recommended to publish the Play Games first, and after that, publish your actual app to the production level. What else? There's this tiny label there, the red circle below the IDs, because I said remember them, copy them, and so on. But if you click this, you have everything that you need to have in a string. You can just copy this directly into your resource file. It doesn't need to be named games-ids XML. It can have any name. You can also append it to a file, but I recommend it to have it separately. And then you can reference this via string variables, which is much easier and nicer. And then at the touch of a button, everything works automatically. I need to try this again. So the last level, the boss level. So you did all this, you engage the user, you know what they are doing, you add new achievements, you add new levels, and add new leaderboards for that. So the users are engaged, but it's getting complicated. You need to go back to the website and you try to add new features, so your testers try out new achievements or new leaderboards, and you want to wait until you publish it to your actual users, to possibly your customers that paid for your app. So you want to have some iterations over this before. So there are a few things that Google provides that help you manage those things. So first of all, it's a publishing API that helps you, along with the publishing API from the Play Store, that helps you to automatically upload alpha and betas, or even prod if you're that daunting, to create APK, the listings, the images, and so on. And this publishing API for games helps you to update and create new leaderboards and achievements. So you can all do this from your computer. You don't need necessarily go to the website and click through and change this label. This can all be done via script if you have the infrastructure in place. Another API, or a set of APIs that are really useful, especially in the testing phase, is the management APIs, because they help you reset the scores, achievements, quests, and so on for your testers. You can only do this until the achievements are unpublished, until they are published, and only for listed tester accounts. But you can actually set whole communities to be tester accounts. You don't need to collect each and every email address. Optionally, you can say this alpha channel group is automatically a group of testers, so those people can automatically be reset every day, for example, so they can try out the achievements over and over. The leaderboards can be reset, and you can see if the new pointing system that you're working on works better. And one thing works also after the publishing. You can hide cheaters from the board, because we all know I know the global leaderboard of Flappy Bird, for example, where you had a lot of people entering like the max integer value because they found a way to hack the score. With this API, you can hide those people from the leaderboard, and even if they uninstall or whatever, they can't get the leaderboard score up with the same user anymore. And for the businessy side in you, which I guess if you are an indie game developer, you need to have all kinds of hats, and there is player analytics, and this is really, there's a lot that you can draw from this, and it basically relies on the events. There are some things that you can do even without investing time in tracking events, but if you do, it's really helpful. Here you see something that works without events because it's based on the achievements. So you can see how much time do the people spend in your app. Is it maybe that some achievements are too easy? Is it that only one achievement is really easy and then you have a large drop-off, so you need to fine-tune a bit maybe the rules for your achievements, or maybe explain a level better or make it easier. So there are different ways to skin the cat, but there's, for example, a way to list daily goals. So you select, I want to have, I think one of the drop-downs is $3.2 million a month as a goal. So then it counts you per day how much that would be, how much you need to earn, so you can track every day, am I under or over this daily limit? I mean, maybe you start with something nicer like, I don't know, 100K per month. And then it helps you to track, okay, I turned this knob, I changed this game mechanic, and now I see a growth in my acquisition per day. Okay, I'm on a good track. You can also compare it against other games in the same category. You can see how the player retention is, how long do players play your game. Is it only just for the first day, or do they come back day after day? So you can tweak the game mechanics a bit and the messaging and everything around it, and it helps you really to get back into your optimum for your game. One thing they added tied to events is they call it sources and sinks, and you can, instead of just having an event that says player 1, you can also have something like player received 5 coins for finishing this quest in-game, or spent so and so many coins for acquiring this nice sword in this game. And these events, like spending money and earning virtual money, can be shown in a nice graph. So you see how your in-game economy, if it makes sense, if players are earning more coins than they can actually spend, or if they are always short on the coins because you want to have them in a relative balance around this. And there's a secret bonus level, of course. Outside of Google Play games, there is this one thing that is Google Tag Manager. And it's not only usable, there's actually a whole video on how to use this to basically have less overhead with game development, because Google Tag Manager originally developed for making advertisement campaigns a bit easier, to allows you to store your game data, like your list of quests and stuff like that, in the Tag Manager, and then segment separate users to do, for example, A/B testing, for show the new UI to only half of the users and see if this drives business or it doesn't, and things like that. And this video is really good to explain this. And I also immediately bought the shirt, because it's Tron. It's called Donkey Tron. You can't see this here, but look at the video, it's awesome. So that was the short tour through Google Play Game Services. This is really a mouthful. And I would like you to ask questions, because we have a bit of time left for this.